Okay. We'll take this conversation forward and get your questions and queries as well answered on the personal finance front, on your MF portfolio bit as well. Joining us now on the show is Vishal Chandiramani, the head of products with Trust Plutus. Vishal, thank you for joining us today on ET Now. I'm sure you've got a lot of calls from your clients in the last couple of days asking you about whether they have multi-cap funds perhaps in their portfolio. What does it mean, now that, SEBI has said that, look, multi-cap funds will have to buy more mid and small cap stocks. Perhaps some of them will have to sell off or cut down on their large cap exposure as well. What's been your advice on how, individuals should read into this news that has come in from SEBI?
Hi, Mubaina. How are you? Coming to the SEBI circular, I think, yes, we have been receiving a lot of calls from investors asking what they should do. I think it's important to understand the rationale behind the circular which SEBI has issued on Friday. And their objective is to ensure that multi-cap schemes are true to label, right? We've seen that prior to this circular, there was no restriction on multi-cap funds in terms of allocating between large, mid and small cap companies. And given the volatility in the last 18 to 24 months, majority of the multi-cap schemes have had a higher tilt towards large cap funds, large cap companies. You would see that in the top 10 multi-cap funds by AUM, most of them have in excess of 70% of the AUM in large cap companies and minimal exposures to mid and small cap stocks. The idea of the regulator is that when an individual invests in a multi-cap fund, you invest keeping in mind that you will have an allocation across different market caps. That is something which wasn't happening in the current scenario, and that is the reason for this circular. While investors may be worried in terms of the impact of this, the regulator has also issued a clarification yesterday evening, mentioning that its objective is not to destabilize the markets and to have an excess rush of money going into mid and small cap stocks as was being perceived on Friday. But there are several options which mutual funds have through which they can meet this guideline. So they could either rebalance the portfolios, they could facilitate investors to switch their investments into different schemes of mutual funds. They could merge the multi-cap scheme with another existing scheme in the large and mid-cap space or the large cap space or the focused equity funds, or they could reclassify the existing multi-cap scheme, into another category. Given this, I think investors should not panic and, redeem from their mutual fund investments right now and should, wait for the AMCs to clarify in terms of which action they're going to take. Each AMC will, decide its own course of action. And once that is decided and communicated to an investor, the investor should then act in terms of what the AMC has proposed.
So you're basically adopting for now at least a wait and watch approach. Wait for the mutual fund house to come and tell you that, look, XYZ is the action we are conducting. Let's assume that, Vishal, the individual is told that, look, we are going to stick to the label of multi-cap fund and hence we are going to purchase some more, mid and small cap stocks, maybe trim down some of the large cap stocks, until they reach the required ratio of 25%, 25%, 25%. How would you then recommend viewers, look at their portfolio? Because I'm sure they would already be having a couple of large cap funds, perhaps, one or two mid and small cap funds as well. So how should they then read into this news and, take into consideration their portfolio as well?
Mubaina, like I said, when an investor invests in a multi-cap fund, the idea is that you get allocation across market caps. Given that now there is a minimum threshold of 25% into large caps, mid caps and small caps, what will happen is that, the volatility of the funds could increase since they have to have a minimum 50% combined into mid and small cap stocks. So in a period of market turmoil, it could lead to higher volatility for these funds. But at the same time, if the mid and small cap portion of the funds is managed well by the fund manager, this could also lead to higher returns for investors over a longer period of time.
All right. Okay. Let's assume that somebody who has perhaps a little lower risk appetite, maybe his or her goal is already fast approaching, or perhaps they are on the verge of retirement. What would you recommend? I mean, would it make sense then for them to perhaps either cut down their investments in a multi-cap fund, pause SIPs, maybe redeem it?
Yes, if you are close to achieving a certain goal, then you should look at moving from your multi-cap fund. In fact, if you're close to a goal, generally what we advise is that you should start moving the money into debt funds and safer investment avenues rather than keeping the money in equity funds. Even if you're keeping the money, some portion of that money into equity funds, it should be into large cap, oriented funds or into hybrid funds.
I don't want viewers to hurriedly sort of take any decision as well with respect to their multi-cap funds, and hence I'll ask you this. Vishal, what are the, sort of ramifications of redeeming a multi-cap funds? Because many a times viewers tend to get trigger happy and, sort of press the redeem button or sell button. But I just want to, get this cleared and ensure that our viewers listen to this as well. What happens if you sell your or redeem your multi-cap fund, especially from a tax perspective?
So what happens is there are two factors to keep in mind when you redeem, any mutual fund, whether it's a multi-cap fund or another category of funds. One is the exit load implications. So each fund has its own exit load period. If you redeem before that, you're hit with an exit load charge by the AMC. And that exit load charge is on the entire value of redemption and not just on the gains that you may have made in that fund. Apart from that, as you rightly said, there are tax implications as well. So if you redeem an equity fund in less than 1 year, you end up paying a short-term capital gains tax, which is at the rate of 15%. And if it's an investment which has completed a year, then you end up paying long-term capital gains tax, which is at a rate of 10%. So one should keep in mind both the exit load implication as well as the tax implication before taking a decision to redeem from a scheme.
Right, exactly. It's very important to understand that. Now let's understand from a return perspective. Once again, I'm just assuming that a mutual fund house will carry out these changes, because if the investment strategy is going to be kept same by, either merging this fund with an already existing fund or relabeling it, then really it's status quo. But let's assume that a multi-cap fund manager says that, okay, look, I am going to adhere to the SEBI's norms and, buy more small cap, large caps and sell large caps. Small cap, mid caps, pardon me, and sell large caps. May I, as a multi-cap fund unit holder, expect a lot of volatility in my NAV for the next, 3-4 odd months till Jan 2021?
Yes, you would, because, and you've seen a kind of frenzy which has built up over the weekend with people expecting that mid and small cap stocks are going to run up and you will see a big sell-off in, large caps. So to that extent, there could be volatility in the markets. We've spoken to several AMCs over the weekend as well, and their view is that, it is unlikely that you will see the kind of, rebalancing from large caps to mid and small caps as some people have made out in, various social media posts which were circulating over the weekend. So, according to numbers which were circulating, if all the AMCs had to rebalance their multi-cap portfolios where they reduce the large cap exposure and increase the mid and small cap exposure, the rebalancing could be in the tune of 30 to 40,000 crores in the next 3 to 4 months. Like we discussed, several AMCs will take different options rather than rebalancing the portfolios completely. So to that extent, do not expect, this kind of number, when it comes to rebalancing. Some AMCs may decide to rebalance, but the number will be much lower than what is being circulated on social media.
Great. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope this has sort of helped you understand as individual holders and unit holders of different kind of mutual funds, what is the implication to your overall portfolio? It's very important to understand that and not look at it as a separate unit, because your whole portfolio itself is something that you have to look at very holistically. If you're still confused, you can always ASAP email us on the Money Show at etnow.tv and we'll help you out with your questions and queries. Let's take on board our very first query. It's coming in from Anmol Sharma. He says, if they merge multi-cap funds with their respective large cap funds, if that's a possibility that will happen, and also what does that mean for unit holders? What is your reading of this, Vishal?
So if a multi-cap fund is merged with a large cap fund, you will get units of the new fund or the merged entity, which will be allotted to you by the AMC. Like we said, several multi-cap funds, especially the larger ones, already have allocations in excess of 70% to large cap stocks. So they're pretty much following the SEBI mandate of a large cap fund anyways. The SEBI mandate for a large cap fund is having a minimum exposure of 80% to large cap companies. These funds are at 70% plus right now. So, while you will get units of the merged scheme, all it will do is it will increase the size of the merged scheme for the AMC, and they'll have to manage the liquidity of, a larger scheme in terms of AUM. But I don't see too much changing then for the existing unit holders.
Okay, so not much may change for existing unit holders, except that now instead of holding XYZ units of multi-cap funds, you're using XYZ units of a large cap fund. So in that sense, not much may change. Okay, we've got quite a few other questions as well lined up. Let's take those on. Upasna Ayappan writes to us saying, I stopped the Franklin Smaller Companies SIP many months ago due to underperformance, but still have funds of almost 1.3 lakh rupees, where she's still roughly losing 15% versus how much ever she must have invested. I have started SIP and other funds for the next 8 to 10 years. She's a very long-term horizon. It's a good thing she started off with mutual funds. Now she wants to know, is it the right time to redeem the Franklin Smaller Companies Fund altogether and instead invest in a couple of other funds over the next couple of days? Okay, she's not mentioned which of the other funds, but she's particularly disappointed with the Franklin Smaller Companies Fund, which is not doing well for her. Is that something you would recommend, Vishal? Because she'll just be converting her, what we say, unrealized losses into realized losses. Is that something you'd recommend, or would you advocate holding on to them for a little longer?
So, as she has stated correctly, the Franklin Smaller Companies Fund has underperformed both the benchmark and its peers. To that extent, her decision to stop the SIP in the Franklin Smaller Companies Fund is the right decision. If she decides to redeem the investment from the scheme and allocate it to other schemes, like we have discussed some time back, she should take into account the exit load implications and the tax implications. And if the exit load period is over, as well as she has completed a 1-year time horizon, she can look at redeeming these investments and investing into some better performing schemes. What I would suggest is, when you're making this change, you can redeem and invest the entire corpus at one time, since you're not thereby changing your equity asset allocation. You're moving from one equity fund into some other better performing equity funds. If you redeem and then invest over a period of time, you're actually taking a market timing decision, which is something which we do not recommend normally. Since it's equity to equity, you can redeem and invest the entire money into better performing schemes at one time, obviously keeping in mind the exit load and the tax implications.
Okay, well, there you have it. That's the word then coming in. I hope, Upasana, you've taken note of that view. And I guess, sometimes when you stop your SIP when the markets are falling, you lose out on the opportunity to perhaps lap up more units at a lower price. So maybe viewers need to be a little wary about that. But yes, otherwise, I guess, Upasana, do take into consideration what Vishal has mentioned. Okay, I think that's all the time we have for viewer questions and queries. So we'll do one thing. We will take a very short break right here on the show. Vishal Chandraramani, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of The Money Show, and a very important one at that. Quick break right here on the show. When we return, we will be discussing the latest update when it came to EPFO. You will be getting your interest credited to your EPFO account, not all together but in tranches. Is the EPFO as well succumbing to the market crash that we are witnessing? We'll be taking forward that point with Jitendra Solanki. Don't go anywhere.